Hi, guys. Welcome to The Lover's Lantern. I'm having really bad luck with this reading, so let's see how that ties in. So today's reading is Why Are They Being or Acting Weird Toward You? For group one, we have this record keeper quartz and speaking in public. Group two, this piece of an earring and communicate appropriately. Group three, opalite and keep your cool. Group four, cheetah agate and don't let your ego get in the way. And for group five, the snow quartz. And don't be fooled. So go ahead and select your pile. I'll see you in your reading. Okay, group one, those who picked this record keeper and speaking in public, this is why they're being or acting cold towards you. So I'm going to tell you right now that things are not working out. Okay. Things are not working out for me in this reading. I'm going to keep my hands off of it. I think that's very relevant to this pile for sure. Um, there's a major delay. Look at my hands. You can't even see it. It will pop up after. There it is. Okay, so I won't use my hands. About this reading, this person is definitely things are not working out for them. We have luck is on your side in reverse. You know, they think that right now they are not having any luck with the things happening in their life. So there's a lot of stress and worry and anxiety with the Nine of Swords and this need to spend time alone. We have North in solitude. So when we think about going north, like I'm thinking about, oh, we went up north for, a cottage or a trip away from the city where you disconnect and detach. I'm getting that this person feels the need to do this right now. With yin yang lover too, I'm just seeing like the two opposing forces, of this rest and then this push, like the yin being the rest and the yang being a push. And I think that they've been pushing for things for a while and it has not been working out. And it's almost like things have been not working out to an extent where they've been pushing and pushing and pushing. And, they're just at a point where they're tired. They're tired. I'm looking at this Five of Cups, um, and the spilled cup. And this person just taking the time out to be like, this is not working for me. Um, and I feel also too, they've tried everything with the Seven of Cups. Um, and not just tried everything. If you can see this guy holding like this, bag of jewels or all these gems, I'm also feeling like they chose, something that they thought was going to bring them a lot of, hmm, not necessarily material things. It's like, that saying of all that glitters isn't gold. It's like that. Like they chose, like they were deceived by it. You can see the snake on the card too. They thought, because I'm also getting to with all the feet, like they chose to walk a path that is more in line of what someone else's path was. And it's like they're realizing that they're not getting any luck with that, things aren't working out and they're wanting to take the time to figure out what is for them. So here we have your purpose is personal expansion. How can you be more intentional with your choices and live with more purpose? So, they're still faced with all these choices. And I think they're reaching a point where they're starting to feel like, you know, the the road traveled is not bringing me any luck. Like it is not working for me. I need time out to figure out what is right for me, and that's pretty much the North and the Solitude card, and also the record keeper quartz that you selected as well. It's a good stone for getting clarity and just tapping into information that you would not have otherwise received. So that's what I'm getting with them. They are looking to avoid speaking in public with the Seven of Swords and speaking in public. The prospect of speaking in public can be terrifying. However, it is a great skill to develop. For Sun Tzu, the enemy of the public speaker could be lack of a point, mumbling, reading your speech, and making too much of your mistakes. Know yourself means know your material, relax and be confident. Dress right, sober up, practice and be yourself. I think that this person is avoiding speaking, that things have not been working out for them. Um, I'm also getting, if you're close to this person and there's sort of, how do I put it? Like a general consensus. You know how there'll be social groups where all of you guys work in a certain field. Not to say you have the same values and the same ideas and are walking the same path per se, exactly. But where it's almost like they want to get a different perspective from the group. Um, or maybe even from you. Um, because I think they're just getting more and more confused. And so that's what I'm getting with the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Swords, and speaking in public. You know, right on the card, it says the enemy of the speaker could be lack of a point and mumbling and, all these things. And it seems like this person doesn't even know how to express what they're feeling. And they want to take time to figure it out. I think that that's how this person is. When they're worried and they're stressed and things aren't working out, I don't think that they're quick to speak. We have not the right time here as well. So to me, it just shows it's not the right time for them to speak, and they want to feel stronger. um, they want to complete this process of, being alone and having time to reflect and to really get clear on what it is that they want to choose. You know, there's just so many options for this person. This person could be somebody who I'm getting is good at different things. When we talk about purpose, a lot of times people associate their purpose with things that they're good at, and I'm getting with this person that they feel like they could be successful at many things. Maybe this person is multi-talented. And another thing too with this your purpose card is the expansion part of it. I'm getting that maybe this person also too feels like they just have to choose one thing. You see the guy in the Seven of Cups just holding on to one thing. Meanwhile, there are many things on that card. And with expansion, I'm getting expanding your mindset, your horizons, and to include that your purpose could be several different things. You know, when people say, "Oh, what is your purpose?" I was out uh, this past weekend and there were people on the street. They were like religious. They were preaching the word. They were spreading, their message. It was a religious group. They didn't come across that way, but they were approaching people saying, "What is your purpose in life?" Um, and to me, when I heard that, I just thought it was a bit strange because how can you say you just have one purpose? I feel like this person maybe at one point thought that they had to pick one purpose, or and so you could see on the Five of Cups, like the one cup actually fell over. I wish I could point it out. I wish I could actually use my hands, but it's just not working out. Like this stuff is that one purpose that this person had has been knocked over. And usually it's 3 cups that were knocked over, but in this card, it's just the one, and it was the one that they're holding. And so right now they just kinda wanna avoid having to push things, avoid having to speak on it. They just feel really, imbalanced, and it's interesting because with the Six of Pentacles in reverse and yin yang, like the yin yang is finding the balance, the right balance, right? Um, and they just feel really imbalanced. And also too, I feel too with the Seven of Swords, like the 2 swords left behind, I'm getting a feeling that they wanna leave certain things behind, you know? They feel like they have to leave certain things behind in order to be more successful in not just of not just of like with their purpose, like finding a purpose, being successful, being able to feel like they achieve things or accomplish things, whatever it is, they feel like life is not working out, and they want to leave things behind. Um, and when it comes to you, like why they're being cold to you, I think they're just in a cold season, like we see with the North and Solitude and the polar bear. They're in a colder season. I'm looking at the Nine of Swords with the blanket as well. Um, it's like this desire to want to, go up north, be by yourself, warm yourself up, you know, find the opposite of what you were doing with yin yang. Um, you know? So I don't think that this is necessarily something of uh like they're upset with you or anything. It's more so that they are just in a cold place, in a solitary place. They're thinking about what to leave behind, and it seems like something that they picked or something that they're holding on to or were holding on to, it just spilled over, and they're sad about it. They're sad, or they could be regretful that they went for something, or it wasn't the right time for something, and they feel like they're closed off from knowing what that is. I'm looking now at the Seven of Cups with one of the top ones with the covering. It's a symbol of the High Priestess and like something being blocked off from them. So I think they're just waiting to get to this end of this period to be able to resurface um, and come back around. So this definitely isn't a permanent thing. I think the coldness comes from the fact that they're sort of in that state of coldness, which is a symbol of solitary, of winter, of reflection, of getting clear, and of stress and maybe a little bit of depression, definitely depression as well. Um, yeah, so they definitely want to move away from things and they're just really trying to figure out what those things are. But there's certainly things that they've been pushing hard for or towards. And I just get a sense of feeling that they want to move away from other people's ideals or like other people's path. Like they want to figure out their own path and what's right for them to be successful, because right now they're not having much luck following, other people's advice, other people's opinions. A lot of times, people will look at other people and think, okay, well, what did you do to get there? Like, how do I have to be successful? And I think they're just realizing that that's not, there's something missing with that. Um, Maybe they also don't feel fulfilled. Um, they just feel like things aren't working out. So this is why they are acting cold towards you. It's just that this is, with the yin yang, there's like the two opposing like sides of, where there's good, there's bad, where there's, hot, there's cold. So I'm getting with that is um maybe this person's hot and cold with you. Um and with the public as well, because I'm looking at speaking in public. Um, I'm getting an introverted extrovert type person. So someone who is primarily really more of a introvert or a worrier or keeps a lot of things to themselves. Um, and also too worries a lot and keeps that to themselves. And they don't want to put that out in public until they're able to speak about it from a place of being more clear. So that's what I'm getting. Maybe too also, I'm thinking that if they did disappear for a time, they want to sort out their thoughts so then that they can come back and explain where they're coming from. Um, because right now I think there's a lot of confusion and they don't fully know what it means. So it just boils down to this not being the right time for them to come and explain something because they don't even know um, what it is that they're trying to explain. They just know that right now things are not working out and they're, you know, picking things that don't work out for them. And they just need time to sit with that and relax and let it go and, get clear on what really fits them on a personal level. So yeah, so I think that you know that sums it up and why they're being cold towards you. So that's your reading, group one. Um, Hopefully things do work out for them. Unfortunately, and I'm getting to because I'm looking at the Seven of Cups, the guy's hands. Maybe there's something also with this person doing something with their hands, um, either while they're in solitude. Because I'm getting something like while they're in solitude, I think that they're also going to figure out something that they can do with their hands that they're actually good at. And it's going to be one of the things that they'll emerge out of this period feeling like this is something that they can actually do to be more successful and is in line with what feels right for them. Because right now I'm getting like the hands, because my hands can't work in this video because there's too much of a delay. So there's some delay going on with some of them. And I'm looking at this cat using its hand to see what the water's about. And usually cats don't like water. So it's kind of like exploring something that you may not necessarily like to do. Um, is what I'm getting with this person. And maybe this person was more extroverted and is now spending more time alone to be able to figure out what they want to do next. So definitely nothing personal. It's just something that has to happen. And in due time, they'll be more confident and able to really express what it is that they're doing right now. I'm also getting that, when you start a project or you start working on something, people will say you should hold off on putting it out there, before it's taken root and you have something to show for it. Um, that's generally how it goes with speaking in public. Like you prepare um, on your own and you do things behind the scenes, and then you just give people the final product. So then that way they can understand it and you can come across clear and there's less confusion with that. So this person will definitely reemerge. I think that they'll be able to give an account for what's been going on and how it wasn't really the right time for them to step forward and to really talk about what was going on with them. So that's your reading, group one. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Okay, hi, group two. This is your reading on why they are being cold or distant towards you. So all right, so you picked communicate appropriately. First of all, I'll say check out group one if you did get that sense that that was a group that you wanted to select. I got that while I was shuffling. And so this is going to be a hands-free reading as well. So I'll just talk about the cards. So with the reason why they are being distant with you, okay, we have Spider-Man in reverse, places to be, webs to shoot. I'm getting that this person just has a lot going on with themselves. And I kept feeling as I was shuffling the cards, like they don't know what they're doing. I'm thinking about somebody who's, I hate to say mentally ill, but somebody who is in a state of mind where there's a lot of confusion and they don't know what they're doing. You know, and they don't know what's going on either. They don't know what's going on. We have the Page of Wands over here, and he's looking at these hieroglyphics, trying to wonder, what is this? What does this mean? And I think this person's at this stage where they're a little bit, I don't want to say they're not self aware, but two of these cards, Summer and Sun, come from the Empath Oracle. And then we have Nurturing Thyself, which comes from the Medium Oracle. So I'm getting that this person starts to feel really overwhelmed by, in a way that makes them feel really confused, being an empathetic person, being a medium. Um, just feeling overwhelmed by other people's energy. And, that's where I'm getting that they're being pulled into different places and different energies. And with Spider-Man and the web, it's like getting caught up in other people's webs. And then being really confused about what they have to do or what they have to, like, they don't know what they have to change with change and reverse. They know that there's something not right, or there's something broken with this night, not the right time. I'm looking at the broken glass, like something's not working. Um, and they're trying to figure out what that is. And by being alone, we have the Four of Swords in reverse, Nurturing Thyself. This is a restless feeling coming from the right side, the left side, with all these empath type cards. It's like they're just really restless, and they want to just take time for themselves, and they want to distance themselves, and they're just thinking like, how do I get unstuck? Like, how do I not get caught up in other people's webs? Um, I don't know if this is how they're feeling towards you, or if this is something that they just feel overall, and then as a result want to, you know, take time for themselves. But I'm not getting too much of a taking time for themselves, although that is there. It's mostly that they're really confused how to get unstuck from other people's webs. Maybe this could be someone that you share things with, and they are really sensitive to it. Uh, yeah, like I'm looking at this Nurture Thyself card, and I'm seeing all these colors moving through it, and it almost looks like these energy waves, or these like, what's it called, the ultraviolet spectrum, or like, I don't know, there's waves of light. Don't quote me on my science, but uh there's light that we're not able to see, or colors we're not able to see with the human eye. And I'm getting that with this person, there's a lot of things that, they're able to see or feel that perhaps other people don't pick up from them, and so I think that's where they get into this state where they're really restless and feel very overwhelmed, and they feel really confused. And with communicate appropriately, it's like they don't really know how to communicate that in an appropriate way, because again, they are quite sensitive, and they don't want to they don't, first of all, want to speak when they're not certain, and they still feel confused. And then they also don't want to speak in a way that could hurt the relationship. So for communicate appropriately, it says always use appropriate communication tools for different people and different environments. Appropriate communications with your spouse, kids, boss, or coworkers can deepen your connections to others, build greater trust and respect, and improve teamwork, problem solving, and your overall social and emotional health. So I think they're really anxious and worried, not anxious, but they feel really restless and confused, and they don't think it's the right time to be able to really communicate in the appropriate way, how they want to, like, how things really affect them, how they feel like they want to get uncaught from these webs. And with this gibbous moon, I'm just getting like this feeling of, with you're very close to achieving your goal. It's like this feeling of like, I'm so close, but I don't want to screw it up, you know? And it's not that they're close, or maybe they're getting closer to understand themselves and the changes that they need to make. but it's also a feeling of, oh, if I just like, I need to get this right. I need to get this right. I can't screw up. We're like home stretch. Like, how do I explain what I'm trying to say? Like, they don't want to screw something up. You know, when you're so close to something and you're like, oh, like you're so close to getting it and you just don't want to screw it up, and you know that you have this feeling like this is like hanging on by a thread, or I'm so on the edge. And like, it's like, okay, example, sports, right? You're so close to winning, but the game is really, really tight. So you know that, one screw up, that's it. I don't know. I guess they're really afraid of like one screw up or something small that could like screw things up. I think they're super empathetic and they're so sensitive to other people's like little gestures. And they do want to always, show the other person respect. So I feel like they just really don't know, like they have a lot going on um, in terms of trying to figure things out, and knowing that they have to make change, but they don't know what that change is. But they feel like things are like getting to that boiling point, like where they don't want to break something, you know, as part of, the relationship or the way that the status quo is. But at the same time, they want to get uncaught from a web. Like they feel really trapped in a web. And that's just their strong empathy. You know, And I'm also getting with nurturing thyself is like, I think they put a lot of nurturing into other people. And it's just something that, they just need time to figure out of like the adjustments and the changes they need to make in order to feel happier, like summer, sun, it's, it's happy, you know, um, so they're just looking for the right way to communicate in the right way. Um, like this card is really about different environments. I don't know if the way that you know this person is in a different environment. It isn't necessarily um, like this could be work related. Uh, and I'm getting that the reason why they don't know what they're doing is I think there's so much for them to figure out when it comes to, okay, how do I express myself when I'm at work, with my family, with my friends? How do I, you know, change certain things so I don't get caught up and feel restless and feel overwhelmed? Um, I think that they're trying to figure it out and they just don't know. It's like this earring right here. Like this earring just broke off of, you know, a part of the earring and I don't know what stone that is. It's just like I don't know where it came from. I don't know what stone that is. I think a lot of the feelings that they're having, they don't really know where it's coming from, but they just feel like they're caught up in sometimes nurturing other people. Because with nurture thyself, it sounds like more of a command for them. So I think their coldness really does come from there's something not right and they know something has to change. They're trying to understand it. They're confused about it. With get more information in reverse, it's they're just trying to figure out uh, how things can be better and more positive in their life. How they can get unstuck. Um, you know, and that's just what they're trying to figure out. I think, like, if this person is not an empathetic person, and a sensitive person, then I don't think that this is your reading, because this has to do with someone's emotional health and someone trying to even understand what they need for their emotional health. Um, and trying to figure out how to communicate it. Because when we look at the hieroglyphics, it's a form of communication, one that we don't necessarily understand fully, but we're trying to figure out. Um, and so yeah, that's what I'm getting with why they're being cold. They just want to get unstuck from this web of where they feel like they keep getting caught up in different environments. Uh, yeah, and they know they got to change it, and they feel like they're just like so close to figuring it out, and the stakes are high. This is a situation where they feel like the stakes are high, and they just want to build a blueprint, so that they can fix things. Uh, with not the right time. This was also in group one. Uh, so so yeah, it's just not the right time for them to figure it out, but also not the right time to communicate it. But they are taking the time to try and figure it out. But they mostly are trying to get themselves unstuck at this time. So if they're a little distant, then that is the reason why. So that's your reading, group 2. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Okay, hi, group 3. So why are they acting cold towards you? So when I was shuffling, I kept hearing they're pissed. They're pissed. So I don't know who's pissed, if it's you or them, or it was just the dynamic between you. We have dynamic right here, and the number 23, so 5, which is conflict. With the 5 of vessels too, you could see the broken eggs, and something not going as intended. So, oh, and then we have keep your cool. Modern life can be stressful and is often full of disorder and hubbub, including disagreements, arguments, or even worse. Keep calm. You may need it. The fastest way to lose focus is to lose your cool. Take a deep breath and think before acting. If you can if you can keep your wits about you in the midst of crisis, it will serve you. And then we have use your knowledge of others. Don't always think you have to go it alone. You don't have all the answers or all the information all the time. If you know someone with skills and knowledge that you don't have, ask them for advice or help. They will almost always be happy to share what they know. So I'm not taking that card too literally. It's just keep your cool and use the knowledge of others. So I'm taking that as this person is more new in your life, with this Ace of Cups. It's like a new relationship, a new romance, a new friendship. I am getting a very heavy relationship vibe to this with this opalite. It is a man-made stone, so I'm getting that this person could likely be a man. And so there's just been some drama or conflict where one or both of you were pissed, but something really did not go as planned. And we have inexperience here, right? With Persephone. So I'm taking that this person does not have a lot of experience emotionally. Um, and so things did not work according to how they wanted it to work with you. Um, I am not the victim, I am the lighthouse. So I think with that, um, they don't want to play the victim, and I think that's why right now they are more so being distant, is because they're trying to figure something out, um, because they're inexperienced. And I think that they're looking for advice from people, and not just advice, but with the high priestess is taking time to reflect. Or I just saw the laptop in her hand. So maybe doing research, maybe spending time on social media, maybe, going on men's forums, or, trying to figure out more of the emotional side. With the Ace of Cups and the dolphin, it's like, how can I be a little bit more socially intelligent, and keep my cool when there are disagreements, and do so in a way that supports the dynamic between you. With Spirit Keeper of the West and experience, like I'm getting that this person is either younger, maybe they're younger than you, or I don't wanna say underdeveloped. Ugh, that sounds not good, but the spirit keeper of the West is giving more of, the rising sun, or is it the setting sun? Rises in the east, sets in the west. Okay, so it's a setting sun. So, I guess it's shortly after their teenage years, because I'm thinking, like, in terms of a lifespan, the rising sun would be, as you're growing up, and then as it's setting, maybe this person is in early adulthood, maybe 25. It doesn't really matter. But the bottom line is that they are trying to learn to be more uh, socially intelligent with this dolphin. And maybe they think that you're something really unique and special. That's what I'm getting with this mermaid. It's very unique, it's special. And that's why I think they're feeling a sense of loss with you. It seems like there's something that happened where they really want to focus on what's good, what's good between the two of you. Because I'm looking at the two remaining eggs, and they still think that there is something uh with you guys. I don't see this um as an ending. I just think they need more of a game plan. And I think this is kind of sweet because with your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn in reverse. I think that this person is used to maybe not working on dynamics um between people from a social standpoint, or they're looking more to that too, but also that they're wanting to create a game plan, right? Because they feel like the effort that they've put in isn't translating, and that's sort of what happens when you're inexperienced. Like, you can be putting an effort. What's that saying? Like, practice makes perfect. I knew someone who used to say, no, it's not practice makes perfect. It's the right practice makes perfect. And so that's what I'm getting with this person, who likely is a man. And with the I am the lighthouse, I see them as wanting to be the one to take the lead um, in the arguments or the disagreements that you have, and be the one to make a change to the dynamic between you. And so they're just trying to take time out to figure that out, check in with themselves. I think they're also talking to other women, because I'm getting the high priestess and um, ask for advice. So, yeah, so they're trying to ask for advice from other women. They don't have too much experience with women, or how to go about things, more so from acknowledging the emotional aspect of a woman, or like how women, I don't know, and not to sound sexist, but hopefully you guys get what I mean. I think that maybe you are more feelings based, and they don't necessarily know how to handle that. I think they feel like they screwed up. And, sometimes when you don't want to screw something up even worse, you kind of keep a distance for the time being. Um, because here we have nothing will come of this situation in reverse. So they're trying to get out of, like they're trying to balance what went wrong with what's left, Um and yeah, they really want to take the lead. They really want to take the lead on changing the dynamic between you, because they do see you as something unique and beautiful, and um I don't know, just somebody that they want to hold on to. So they're just trying to figure out a way of how to make this work and come up with a game plan for when you guys don't see eye to eye, and where they can keep calm. The high priestess is pretty silent and calm, so that they can take the lead, and maybe draw you in a little bit closer when there are disagreements. So this is just them trying to grow, trying to get more experience, trying to change the dynamic, and take the lead. So I think that's pretty cute, and sweet. I know that they want to take more of a playful approach. Maybe they can be a little bit serious. If this is somebody who's really big on career and being good at things, I can see them really trying to change into a person who is good at relationships, is good at the more emotional aspect. So that's what I'm getting from them. It's just taking a time out, and check out group one if you guys are drawn to that. I think I may have mentioned that at the beginning. If I didn't, then I'm saying it now. So check that group out and just know that they want things to be more, I don't want to say reciprocal, but you know, I think if you've been showing them a lot of, like, putting into them emotionally, they wanna be able to give that back to you, and just soften things on their end. So that's why they've been distant. They just want to figure it out, and, this person is the type of person I think that they can think deeply, and they like to be good at things. And they know if they didn't take time out to reflect and to sort of figure it out, then things will still be dysfunctional or stressful. And, there will be a level of being stuck. So that's what they're working on. That's what they're taking time out for. They are looking to just be successful in improving this dynamic. So that's what I'm getting for your group. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Okay, group four, why are they being cold towards you? And I kept getting, why are they being cold without you? So I'm thinking that this person is without you right now, due to their ego. So don't let your ego get in the way. Getting your ego under control can be one of your biggest challenges in relationships. If you are good at something, that's wonderful. If you have weaknesses, then so be it. Don't worry too much about what others think of you. Your actions will show that you are what you believe yourself to be. Be yourself, believe in your world, believe in yourself. Okay. And then also too, right before the reading, I felt a lot of confusion. Like I wasn't sure. Um, like I was just so confused. So I think that this person is really confused with whatever caused this separation. So check out group three, because that's also something that I was picking up on, that group three may be for you as well. So again, this is a male or a masculine energy that I'm picking up on. We have alpha draconians, and I'm getting alpha with it. So alpha, like an alpha male, big ego, uh, sort of thing, But with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, I'm getting that. That's what I'm getting with ego, is someone who's not sure of themselves or doesn't feel like they're getting something right, but also trying to be, an alpha male about it and having their ego uh, pretty big. Uh, so with the Ten of Swords in reverse, I'm getting that they're getting over this because there was some type of ego bruising, maybe not directly from you. It could just be how they interpreted it. And this person is used to being in control. And I don't know, I just feel like somehow they lost control either of the situation, either of the relationship, of you, of how they wanted things to be. Um, and right now, with the Fool in reverse, I'm getting that they don't want to jump back into it. Um, at the same time, there is, it is a cheetah agate, and I'm getting that they want to rush. They want to rush into something, and but at the same time, their ego wants to rush into something, but at the same time, with divine source and the two hands in prayer, I'm getting that they're really confused. They're really confused. Like maybe they want to rush back into communicating with you, uh, but they don't know the right way to go about it. With the hands in prayer, I'm getting that maybe they were talking to somebody about this, trying to put their ego aside. They know that their ego was in the way. Maybe they got some advice from somebody. And, I think that the person that was talking to them was kind of not fully getting through to them, because I'm looking at this reptile skin in Alpha Draconian. It's like very tough skin. So I'm getting like it was not able to penetrate their rough ego exterior. So the person just sort of said, okay, well, just pray on it, and just pray on it, just see what you come up with, and how you can take action, and don't wait too long. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting a feeling of don't wait too long to make things right, and try to be understanding. We have water in reverse. I think that they were told to grow up with the number 40, um, and to not give up. We have happy ending in reverse, have faith in your dreams, and divine source. So there's like this opposite energy on the right side of the table. So I know that they know that on the right side is where they should be standing, versus the left side, which I'm thinking, things went left with their ego. And on the right side is the side that they want to move into with the 10 of swords. They want to let go of the ego bruise. So that's why they're being cold towards you, uh, because they're hard to get through. Like I just heard a hard head, like tough skin. Maybe they're used to being really blunt, or having people be really blunt with them. I could picture this person, hanging out with the guys, and they all roast each other. Or maybe they come from a family where they roast each other, they're pretty harsh with each other, or, they'll just blurt out things like, yeah, you look really fat, or like just really emotionally unsensitive, and not really taking in to understand the other person's emotions or how that can affect them. So I think right now they're trying to get really clear about it, because they do want to rush in, but they're trying to take their time. They want things to end well. They want a certain outcome with have faith in your dreams. But then they also want to do it in a way where you see how the alpha draconian figure is sitting on a chair. Like it's very opposite to wanting to take action. Like they want to still be able to sit like dignified in their ego, and they don't want to fully give that up, but they do want things to be better. And I think that they want to take baby steps, even though I said they want to rush in. So it's this really opposing energy. I think they're really struggling with how to approach this, because they are a person that likes to take control. And I think that they know that they can't, and that's where I'm getting is the without you. Maybe you gave this person an ultimatum, or you just weren't standing for what they were doing. And so now they're starting to think either I get it right, or you might not stick around. And they don't want to be on their own, with the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Because that's a very like independent sort of single type of card. So at the same time, it's like they're praying, they're waiting for the right timing. They're trying to view themselves differently. But it's just like these two opposing forces, like the left and the right, like they're very different energies. They want to rush in, but then they want to take their time. They want to act like it's about them, but they don't want the outcome to be just about them because they know they'll be single. So yeah, so they're just really struggling to go how to go about it. And they're trying to go about it with their ego intact. So that's why they're kind of acting cold towards you. I'm feeling like they don't want to look weak, you know? They want to stand their ground in a way. Um just until at least their ego is no longer bruised. And some of these people, I think it takes them a while to 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 recover from their ego being bruised. And I know that they are seeking advice. With the Ten of Swords, I'm seeing someone on their phone, trying to learn how to be more in flow. Because I think that with Alpha Draconians, I'm really getting someone who wants to run things. They want to run the show. They want to rule by force or by, I don't know. I think they're just used to that. Maybe they're used to the one lead being the person who leads, the person being in control, the person wanting to go about things in their own way and using certain tactics to go about it. But I don't believe that that's working for you. With keeping your cool, I don't think you can keep your cool with that type of behavior. These two cards are right above each other with water in reverse and then keeping your cool. And I think that maybe you lost your cool on them. And that's what hurt their ego. Or maybe you kind of showed them that, you're not going to control me. You're not going to use your tactics on me. I need more uh I just need more gentleness. You have beauty in reverse, water in reverse, uh these sorts of things. So that's sort of your approach, and this person is trying to understand um how to go about this and what they got to do, because they don't want to come in um and just rush in, even though they want to, and that's sort of their instinct. They know that they gotta go slow, they gotta pray about it, they gotta take it, I don't know, like one day at a time, as opposed to having this master plan of how they're gonna make this work. Um, so that's where the Fool in reverse comes in. They don't want to just hop in really quickly and ignorantly. Like they want to be clear about what they're doing. Um, yeah, yeah, they definitely want to be more understanding of you. Yeah, but they don't want to be too quick. So that is why they're being distant with you. They're trying to get over their ego being bruised as a first step, and then changing their ways. They don't want to just rush in and come in like, I'm just getting like this alpha male. Like I'm used to getting what I want. I'm used to coming in and, knowing how to go about things to get what I want, or maybe being successful in ways that, you know, aren't the most transparent. I don't want to say transparent. They aren't the most uh when somebody says, is it what matters more? Is it the journey or is it the destination? And for them, I think it's the destination. And they're not really the type of person that they're the type of persons like where it's like any means necessary, like to get what they want. And that's where the ego and the control comes in. Like they're not really mindful of the process of how to get there and doing so in a gentle way. Whereas, the other opposite energy that I'm getting from you is no, how you get there matters. And um, I'd rather not have the destination if it's going to be in this way. So I think that you kind of stood your ground with this person, and they're willing to change, but they got to go about it in a way that their ego is intact. And they're not going to be quick to jump in to get hurt again or to have their ego bruised again. It's that whole saving face mindset. So yeah, so that's why they're being cold. That's why they're being distant. And yeah, like that's just what it is. And they're praying about it. Um, they know that they can't be so tough um to get their way. Like, I'm thinking of, and this is part of their tactics. When a parent, say you have like a stubborn kid, and then, you know, that if you approach them a certain way, they're not going to do it. But then when you tell them, go do this, and they don't want to be bossed around. So, the approach that some parents will take is, I'll give you the option. Do you want this or that? So then they feel like they have a choice in the matter. Um, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's part of the confusion. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, they are focused on the outcome, and they do believe that in the end, things will work out. They're just looking into how they can go about it in a way where you can kind of meet in the middle, because their ego does have to stay intact. So I don't know. It's like some things need to be ironed out. Maybe you're ironing out things on your end. So yeah, so this is definitely a man. Maybe this is a relationship with you guys, where you guys got into it, and you know, they kind of want to still come back, calling some of the shots, but doing it gently. They're still trying to figure it out. So that's why they're being distant. That's why they're being a bit cold. And I just saw cool right there on keep your cool. So the coldness is them trying to be cool about it, and not doing too much, and just allowing the time for things to unfold like a little bit naturally. So yeah, so that's where the distance is. I know that there likely is a separation. At least for some of you guys there is. Maybe the rest of you guys, it's a distance where, you guys were perhaps closer before, and there's been like, yeah, a distance, and there's an intention to have a reset, but in the right way, where people can be happy, and it's not just the outcome, it's also of how to get there. So that's their intention. They don't want to stress you out. They don't want to be stressed, and yeah, they're just waiting on the right time, and that right timing has to do with once they feel like they're more settled, peaceful, their ego isn't so hurt, and when they have a clearer idea of what that journey will look like or how it'll unfold. So that's your reading, group 4. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys soon. Bye. Group 5, why are they being distant or cold towards you? And for this group, I'm getting acting cold. I hate to call it an act, but it feels like an act. Yeah. So don't be fooled. That's the card. The word deception doesn't just mean lying or deceiving people with evil intent. Magicians, Secret Santa, presents, or surprise parties use deception. Good. So deception is not inherently bad or good, but we are exposed to it every day. In politics, advertising, books, and movies, Sun Tzu says you need to be able to understand deception in order to be skilled in seeing through it. So this person, we have hell in reverse, which is the end of a cycle. I'm getting that this person is coming out of a really, really difficult cycle. And with inexperience above it and the hermit, it seems like they've really been taking the time to, you know, reflect on the lessons they've learned. And they seem like to be very tough lessons with hell. And I think that they've had to work on themselves a lot. Um, and that was just the season that they were in, with Spirit Keeper of the South. It's a season, um, and I feel that they are, and we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, so they're definitely coming out of this season, and they're moving into a brighter season. So, with the 5 of Pentacles, they're in the snow, it's very cold coming out of it, going into the summer. With Spirit Keeper of the South, it's a warmer time, a better time. I think now they are opening themselves up to new connections. We have that, uh new connections, 740, and then bright heart light, open connections. Yeah. So they are opening themselves up to new connections. And I think that, that sort of explains why they're acting cold towards you. So this may be a new connection for you. Um, there's, seems to be some type of spark between you, with this Ace of Wands. And it just seems like something really new and something that just came in unexpectedly for them. And it came in at a time that they're spending more time alone. And, with this cycle ending, I think that they're trying to really close it off and open themselves up. So I'm getting this hot and cold with, the 5 of Pentacles and the Spirit Keeper of the South, where, when it's like you're getting close. When you touch, well, no one really touches a stove. You touch something hot and it burns. So you're hesitant to touch it again, or you're feeling like, because I'm seeing you as a spark, right? So I'm seeing like a lighter, like spark up, or sparking something up. And you want to move closer to it, but there's this element of fire to it that you're trying to avoid, but at the same time, you're trying to open yourself up to as well. And that's really what I'm getting with you with the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups both in reverse. I'm getting that there's a part of them that is really resistant to this new connection. I think that there's something about their heart space that they don't feel confident. Now I'm seeing solar plex chakra or solar plexus, and go forth, stick with your decisions. Maybe they came with some type of decision like, I don't want to repeat that cycle again. That was rough. It took me a long time to recover from it. And I don't want to just jump into something because with the Ace of Wands, it's like a spark. It just came in. And there's this like hesitancy of like hot and cold. And with their hand on the heart, like it feels like they are starting to feel that emotional click, not just a spark. I don't know if this is sexual. I don't know if this is just like a friendly connection where there's just like a hitting it off. I want to lean towards a romantic thing with the Knight of Cups, but then I also don't want to necessarily lean towards that because it is in reverse. So this could just be a difficult time that this person's coming out of, or maybe something happened or they're going through a transition, right? Because we're talking about the transition of the seasons. We're talking about inexperience in reverse. So it's like they're getting used to or starting to experience some transition. And I don't know, it's just they're really reluctant, and they're hot and cold. They're like I said, they're transitioning. They're transitioning with a life stage, or they're transitioning from a really difficult time, or the difficult time was the life stage. And so they want to um keep an open mind. They want to open up their heart. But with go forth and stick with your decisions, it's like they probably intentionally decided, this is my time for myself. Like I'm picturing somebody who got out of a relationship that did not end well. And, they're starting to feel better. They've been focusing on themselves. They've been trying to do the inner work and the healing and all the things to put themselves in a better, more positive situation. But now there's this new person that comes along. Um, and it's not like they think they're going to screw it up, but there's a hesitance because they haven't fully transitioned to the other side, you know? And I think that they really want to get clear on what they're doing. And maybe for some of you guys, you're not aware of what's happened. You know, I'm looking at this clear quartz and then I'm looking at this snow quartz, which is interesting because we're talking about the cold and the snow. It looks like an iceberg, you know? So to me, I had to pick it up. Don't mind my delay. But with the iceberg, there's a lot underneath the surface. And that's why I think that this person hasn't revealed um, what's been going on with them, you know? And that's where the don't be fooled and the deception comes in. And it isn't that they're lying to you per se, but it's just more that they're not being fully transparent with what's going on. So, you know, this is sort of the deal with them. So, you know, when I said they're acting cold, I mean it in the sense that they do feel a spark with you. They do feel, you know, some desire for you, but they're actively seeming like they want to block it, you know, from an emotional standpoint. Um, so if you notice that they're acting a little cold, or this back and forth, because we have go forth, right? But I'm getting like back and forth, um, you know, then it's it's an act like, you know, I think they don't want to, I don't want to say lead you on, but they don't want things to move as quickly, and to be so open with their heart. Like they want it, but then they don't want it. It's kind of like that difficult spot where they they're just in the transition and they're just in between, and I think that they don't want to send the wrong message that they're completely open and that everything is all good and they're just ready to just hop in and jump in and, you know, just really go for it, you know? So that's why they're acting cold with you. And it does certainly feel like an act because they do feel that connection with you. So, you know, they're just trying to scale it back. You know, just and this could also be a new relationship. Um, because like I said, the Knight of Cups in reverse. Um, and it could be a situation where they don't want to rush into the romance aspect of it. I could picture this being somebody who is like, yeah, let's just connect, let's just meet up, let's just be friends, even though there is beneath the surface more of a spark, you know? Or they could be, because I'm looking at the lantern now on the hermit of, you know, let's just take this slow, let's just take this one day at a time. Um, you know, let's just see how it goes. And I think for them, that comes from the fact that they made a choice at some point, would stick with your decisions, to just, you know, work on themselves or to work on coming out of this transition, like transitory period. And now it's like you showed up and it's like this new thing, and maybe they just don't feel ready for it. Maybe they just don't have the full capacity for it. Maybe they're not clear about it, in terms of what they want. You know they want a connection, but there's just the hesitancy. So, you know, that is why they're acting cold towards you. It isn't anything on your part. It's just that they came out of a really difficult cycle and they are transit I was going to say transitioning. And with this iceberg, you know, I'm getting it like the Titanic. Like they don't want something to sort of crash and burn, because you're just seeing the tip of it. Um, and sometimes it's just that they're not ready to share, and they just want to spend more time on their own. Um, this could also be they're trying to balance new connections or this new connection with you with this ending. And, you know, when you're going through stuff on your own and the outside world doesn't really know about it. So you need to take time for yourself. Like you could be in a funky mood. You don't want to put that out into the universe or visit that on other people. Because I am getting this introverted type of thing with this hermit of somebody who processes things on their own. Um, and then isn't really able to come out with what it is from an emotional standpoint until later on. Or it may not even be later on, but it may be, it could be later on because I'm seeing like the heart and her hand on her heart. Like, I think they want to come forward in a more earnest type of way, but it's difficult. And maybe the timing isn't fully there. Because again, when we're talking about the transition of the seasons, it is timing. It's not something that can be rushed. It happens when it happens. The sun comes out when it comes out. The seasons change when they change. And I think that there could be a surprise element with this person. Because I'm just getting that with this Ace of Wands and this Spirit Keeper of the South. With the Ace of Wands, it's like something that can come in really quick. And I just feel like with the Hermit, this person wants to be sure, would stick with your decisions. It's like they make a choice to move forward. And when they've made that decision, based off of them, reflecting and spending time alone and figuring it out. It doesn't have to be spending time alone, but reaching that point where they've just reached that point and then they can stick with it, but right now it's in that transition period. And that's why you notice that there's this acting cold, moving backwards, you know, um, it's just that's what it is with them. But it is an act. The pullback, the act, it's an act. And it's seems like an intentional act. What we read about the don't be fooled of deception can be good. And I'm getting that this could be a good thing for there to be a delay because it's just not the right time. And sometimes when you do things when it's not the right time, it kind of screws it up, right? Like you don't want to pick the fruits off of your tree before they are ripe, because it kind of goes to waste. You want to wait till the right time where it's the best time, because that's what I'm getting to with the Spirit Keeper of the South is the harvest, the time when things bloom. And you're not going to get the same bloom in the winter. You might not even get a bloom whatsoever. So there is restraint here, but yeah, that's what it is. That's why they're acting cold towards you. So just give it some time. They'll be back and they'll um, be able to stick with it. So that's your reading group 5. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.